In this video, I would like to talk about how I establish a straight line when there are a bunch of strange and peculiar transitions and nothing really solid to square off from. So here are a couple of demonstrations.
I want to talk about flooring layout for a second with the, so this is the vinyl engineered stuff. When laying out for, especially we're saying got all these hallways and transitions and the rest of it, I'd like to find a place to start with a straight line.
And your very first row will start from that point and go back from the direction you are working from.
So I decided to run the long way here and start on this side since I had so many transitions to go over to a wall. And since these old houses, nothing's going to be square or level or anything, so I measured it out. And I measure these out to make sure wherever you start, when you get to the other wall, you don't end up having to cut a little tiny sliver to get in there. And look how thin this goes. This is what you do not want to see. Now this is my own house, so I can live with this mistake. So you want to measure it in a way that you have to take a little bit off of your full piece instead of trying to take a little sliver and get in there. So that's one of the first measurements I try to plan out when determining where I'm going to set these. I most of the time like to get them, roughly at least in the middle of the doorway. That way your transition piece will cover either side of everything.
So your first row will go from your transitions back to your straight line, like this.
So like on this one, I measured it out to where I thought I had basically had a full piece. All I had to do was trim a full piece on that end. And then just find some points to make a straight line. But then I take, like, say, a chalk line or a square, and I just set a line. So I'll just do this to demonstrate here. So I'll pull that line out, get my marks to where it's set, and I'll snap that line. And then what I'll do is I'll cut the pieces to meet this line. And then that'll be my starting point from here on over. So everything, these pieces go first, they meet this red line which is on the floor below, and then these ones will all meet up to it, and that'll be that's my straight line that I work off of. And then whatever happens from there, and that's where we end up.
The rest of this video is just to give a further visual demonstration of how to lay these out, even though I'm not actually installing the vinyl planks themselves. I did not have a camera going during the time that I was doing these installations and these projects.
So this first piece, you want to make sure that your first piece goes around all the contours and lines up to your straight line. And make sure your pieces fit around that. And then, once they are okay, that is when you put your piece into there. Oh, I hope this makes sense. Right? So after you make your straight line and go off of where you want, you cut your first piece, and they have all the grooves in them, and everything comes off and then goes that way from there. Okay?